What is up, everyone? Steve Metrics here of Db8 Sports, over there with your boy
DJ TRIGGS.
And together we are back. Your boy is DJ TRIGGS is fighting through whatever he's got going on, but we're back together. Man, Triggs, I hope you're feeling better, man.
Man, I'm trying. As I was just telling you before we even hopped on, last week I had to fight through to get my voice to kind of talk for a while. And you were up north, so I was trying to solo it as long as I could. But yeah, I had a breathing fiasco that went on. So I got sick last weekend with the flu. Then I thought it was over, and my voice kind of died, and I was like, okay, I'm slowly getting back there. Then I got this bad cough. Thursday I had a fever over 100.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was weird. I was actually went to grocery shop, and I was in the car, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like, well, not even grocery shop. I was just picking up a thing or two, and it got so hot that I thought the AC wasn't working, and then I was freaking out because then my head started hurting. I ended up going to the hospital after I broke the fever the next day, and they put me on like a breathing treatment. So I'm trying very, very hard to breathe. It's been fun. I did. Here's the funny part to me. So they gave me this new allergy pill because they're assuming that something in my chest is swollen and like blocking my air. Because they did X-rays and there was nothing in there, so it wasn't COVID and it wasn't pneumonia. And if it was, I had already like beat it, I guess. But so they're like, all right, when you go to your pharmacy, so my voice is coming back a little bit.
It is coming back.
Two cough drops are going through.
That's no debate.
And the medicine that I took. But so I get to the pharmacy and I go, I get my prescription that they gave me. And I'm like, they told me that I'm supposed to pick up some like super something or other allergy pill. And the lady's like, you mean like behind the counter? I'm like, yes. She's like, oh, we have like this, I think it was Allegra D or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, Allegra D? And I'm just like looking at her. And then she starts going into this like full-fledged like breakdown of it. And I'm like, what does that even mean? So I look over at the wife and I go, what? Can you explain that to me? And she goes, so the stuff that they make meth with is in this pill. And I go, wait, what? What do you mean? And they go, yeah, so we can only sell you a certain amount at a certain amount of time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to use that many. I'm only using one a day. And
Breaking Bad.
And that's what I said. So then I go, so man, I might have to watch that Breaking Bad show again. And the lady starts like staring at me like full stone face. Like,
that's the one thing you shouldn't have said. But it was worth it.
Wait. The lady in the back though starts cracking up, and then she comes up and like explains. I'm like, okay, I get it, cool. And then I bought it, but it made me. I took one this morning when I woke up. It made me so jittery that like I was just shaking, like tingling. Oh, it was nuts. But it wore off. Like the tingling wore off after a couple hours. But that is my story of almost dying. It was a fun ride.
Oh yeah. Hey, shout out to Berto in our fantasy league and his team Los Pollos Hermanos. If you're into Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, you definitely know who Los Pollos Hermanos is. Actually, to me, best character in the entire series owns and operates Los Pollos Hermanos.
So I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes.
You haven't seen the Hispanic Cartel, have you?
No, I don't think so.
That's the best. It's literally the best part of the entire series. I'm not even big into the Walter White and Jesse part of the series. It's okay. Like definitely, obviously, it's recognizable. It's the brand of the show. But straight up, man, like honestly, Gus and Los Pollos Hermanos, that's where it's at.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, you'll see some stuff like that, and they even get into like kind of the backstory of like how that stuff came to power in Better Call Saul. So like, it's cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know anything about anything.
It's okay. One day,
I hope I show up and hope for the best.
exactly. Hey, as long as you're feeling better, man, and one step at a time, you'll get there.
Yeah, I don't know about better, but like I feel like I took some Robitussin, and
Okay.
so now I'm kind of like hitting the peak. And then
Yeah.
like I messaged you and I'm like, I can't stop coughing. And so now I threw the 2 cough drops in my mouth, and they're like they're menthol cough drops. So
Nice.
I'm rocking and rolling. Like I think they're going through my nose right now. It's kind of cool.
There you go. Nice. Sneaky trick. I got sick. I want to say kind of around I want to say January. I was feeling a little under the weather and I was kind of having that stuff in the back of the throat. If you have to get it, root beer is actually sneaky good for throat stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, because root beer has a combination of licorice and sassafras, and sassafras is kind of menthol-ish. So that kind of menthol flavor that you kind of taste in root beer, that comes from sassafras.
is it suffering succotash though?
Right. That's debate. That's debate right there.
I mean, you could debate it, but
I know something
I
like
don't
that.
know.
But I remember back when my throat was tickling when I had that stuff. I think I downed probably a good 5 to 7 root beers, and it felt real
Oh,
good. I'm not sure if it was really like the best thing for you to do, but it was worth it.
but like, what kind of root beer are we talking?
For me, it was just mug straight from a dispenser.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I was at
That's
out
good
of
stuff.
town casino, so there you go.
But
So
hey,
yeah,
at least now I have a reason to drink root beer.
yeah, you
I'm
do.
in.
That's no debate. Boom. So another thing that's no debate. How about these NBA playoffs, Triggs? There's some
Oh boy.
interesting. I mean, there's definitely debate going on with some of these teams and who they kind of look like. But I gotta admit, like, I got maybe one team that is kind of a long shot of my 3 NBA Finals picks, but to be honest, well, I mean, I lost one of them. I lost Milwaukee against those blazing hot Indiana Pacers, but I mean, I'm still feeling pretty good about Boston and New York. And then out west, I have all 3 of my dogs in OKC, Dallas, and Denver.
Yeah. I mean, Denver was looking rough. They were at, they were 2-0 for a while there.
Oh, three
Um,
three nights ago, I was sweating.
uh, Anthony Edwards, we talked about him during the USA basketball, and I
Love
was like,
Kermit
man,
Wilkes, man.
this is going to be the next star.
He
And
is.
now everybody's on that. They're on that bandwagon of, oh my goodness, this guy he's the dude.
Am I
Um,
the only one that actually went out and saw Hustle? Because I swear
but
that movie was like banging.
probably because I've never seen
Man,
it. Uh,
man, it's crazy. And like literally, he is the number one character in the film. He's kind of a villain, and like he is basically a villain in real life. But the thing is, the comp that I'm hearing with Anthony Edwards is he to me, and this guy is definitely a villain. And ironically, when I look at the goats, like you talked about last week, to me, the GOAT in basketball and the NFL, they're both cold-blooded villains. They are
mhm.
cold-blooded, and that is Michael Jordan in the NBA, and that's Tom Brady in the NFL. They are villains. They are stone cold assassins. And to me, that's kind of what Kobe Bryant represented. That's what Anthony Edwards represented. Going even way back when too, like Larry Bird is kind of that trash talking villain as well. To me,
Oh my
those
God.
guys are all very similar.
Hey, did you see the Anthony Edwards? Oh man, press conference after this last game. So
No.
uh the star of the game was Aaron Gordon, right? I think
Yeah.
he went like 11 of 12 or something ridiculous.
Sure.
And so Anthony Edwards is like just sitting there doing a normal press conference, playoffs. And I guess he looks down at the box score. And as he's getting up, he just goes, Aaron Gordon, and like makes this face and just walks off. And the press just start dying laughing.
Oh
It
yeah.
was so funny.
Oh man, I love the guy. Like Anthony Edwards, man, he's just got like a really good personality. I know I forgot how it was maybe about a month ago, and there was a game that he had against I forgot the team. I want to say it was like a dark blue Navy team. Maybe it was like Dallas or something. And him and this guy are just going at it all game. They I think they each got teed up or they both had like double personal fouls, something like that. And then at the end of the game, those guys are like just chuckling, like shaking it out, like they're hashing out, like things are good. But like at least 3 times in that game, those guys are going back at it. They both got teed up, and that's cool. Like that's a really cool guy right there.
And that's actually one of the things I liked about him too, is like you could tell even when he got drafted, he was like, man, like I'm trying to go have fun. I'm trying to be the best, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
It didn't seem like the fake, oh, I'm just trying to go help my team. I'm trying to do that. Like, I hate those guys. Like,
yeah,
the
yeah.
even NFL, baseball, all of that. Like, when you get a guy that's got personality and he just starts talking, like, like he did to Kevin Durant in the Sun series, he's just walking down the court, just dogging Kevin Durant. And it's like,
Nice.
and then my favorite was the I think it was a woman, a part of the press that said something to him about like, no, it was definitely a guy. Now that I think
Okay.
about it,
Yeah.
talks about Jamal Murray, right? And like, oh, is there anything like, do you look up to Jamal Murray? Blah blah blah. And like he like looks at him, he's like, what?
Jamal Murray looks up to
It,
me.
no, he just looks. He goes, wait, isn't he like he's like 2 or 3 years older than me? No, I don't look up to him, and I'm dying, just completely
Exactly.
dying. And I'm like,
Exactly.
this is the type of guy you need to put in front of a camera.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he's just flat out down to earth fun. And I liked it too because back when he got drafted, where did he get drafted from? Kentucky or something? Or I
Ooh,
don't
that's
really I really don't even remember him in college, to be honest.
right. Me neither. That's a good question. Let me see
Yeah.
if I can bring him up here.
I just remember him going to Minnesota, and back then there was kind of some drama around Carl Anthony Towns and like his attitude and demeanor and whatnot. And then this guy shows up and it changes. Like it flips. Like Carl Anthony Towns' personality got better. And it just seemed like they were beginning to build something special. Like this is a kind of like that Jordan Love rise to fame with the Green Bay Packers is kind of what I felt with that kind of personality and that demeanor. That's what I felt with Anthony Edwards going to the Timberwolves back when.
He went to Georgia.
Oh, you know what? That was that weird March Madness. Would he be then? Is he like what? Maybe 4 to 5 years in the NBA now?
Uh, three.
3. Oh, yeah,
Yep.
that's about right. So he came in the year after Obi Toppin, after Obi's season got cut because of COVID.
Oh,
So Anthony Edwards was on the Georgia team that made the March Madness for like the first time in like 20 years. I'm telling you, like you can fill out March Madness brackets left and right. And in my lifetime, I don't think I've ever seen Georgia until 3 years ago with Anthony Edwards.
he came in the same year as Obi Toppin.
Oh, okay.
That was
Oh,
2020.
oh man. So they both got nixed by COVID.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
That
such a
that draft
bummer.
class. To be honest, looking at that draft class, it's kind of spicy.
It is
Okay,
spicy.
so 2020, obviously Ant Edwards went number one.
Yep.
Then you have James Wiseman, big bust out of Golden State, ended up
Yep.
getting shipped to
Portland.
Detroit.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah. Detroit.
Detroit.
Yep.
LaMelo Ball.
But he's like, that's the graveyard of the NBA is Charlotte.
Yeah, but I mean, he puts up big numbers, so I
No,
can't
he's good.
hate him
He
too much.
is good.
Patrick Williams is in Chicago,
Yep.
really solid.
Yep.
Isaac Okoro is a solid starter for Cleveland.
Yep.
Aneka Okongwu for Atlanta,
Yep.
pretty solid. Denny out in Washington.
Okay.
Obi Toppin obviously
Yeah.
is playing with Indiana now, but drafted to New York.
Yep. And that was a good trade too.
Then you got Devin Vassell, who's a starter for San Antonio.
Nice.
Tyrese Halliburton, obviously a
gosh.
star with Indiana.
Jeez.
Cole Anthony is like sixth man in for Orlando, puts up some pretty good numbers.
Sure.
Beef Stew is out in Detroit.
Okay.
Josh Green has been playing really well for Dallas.
Yep.
Sadiq Bey, another really good wing. Precious Achiuwa, who plays for New York. He's
Sure.
been starting a lot of games because Julius Randle and
Yeah.
Isaiah Hartenstein were both hurt.
Yep.
Tyrese Maxey at 21.
Oh my gosh.
RJ Hampton, pretty solid player right now. Emmanuel Quickly, another guy that played really well in New York, got traded to Toronto, put up some nice numbers this year.
Yeah.
Jaden McDaniels, who's
Okay.
the lockdown player on Minnesota right now.
Yes, he is.
Desmond Bain, who got a big contract, 20-point scorer in Memphis.
Yep.
And that's just the first round.
That first round is juiced.
Yeah.
That might be the best first round in our lifetime.
Man, that is a really solid first round.
Yeah. That's why I was so gutted when that COVID season got cut short. I was hoping they would have done a bubble thing instead of just killed the whole COVID thing. But when Rudy Gobert got Donovan Mitchell sick, that was when like everything changed and people freaked out. And it went from the NBA to like life like that. That's maybe that and Kobe Bryant passing away are like the quickest transitions I've ever seen from NBA to like real life ever. Those are the two freakiest moments I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. Some wild stuff where I didn't even know. I was like, wait a minute, is this real? Like, and you didn't know if anything was real because COVID was, people just being.
It was so
bananas.
international.
Yeah.
Like I heard of it like at work. Apparently multiple people got it from a person that vacationed overseas way back when. And that was the first inclination I heard about it. And then literally a day or two later, the whole Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell thing. And then boom, it just exploded.
Yeah. It was a weird time to live through. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was.
But I don't know. This playoffs is it's kind of been going the way that I thought it would so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the Thunder and the Pelicans are they're so good, but like they can't put it all together.
Yeah. And I think too, like part of that, I know a lot of people call out Kevin Durant now for like the leadership issues, and it's legit. But I think that also transpires with Zion Williamson in New Orleans. Like he is this cool star, cool guy. But I feel like back when we really saw him thrive, which was pre-COVID at Duke, well, who was the guy really kind of stepping up being that leader? It was RJ Barrett. And even when RJ was with the Knicks, you could tell like he took on that leadership role. He's a good guy, and I'm kind of bummed out that he's in Toronto right now. But man, I think it was RJ Barrett who was really kind of stepping up and being that leader. Now in New Orleans, yeah, there's CJ McCollum, but I just kind of felt like maybe RJ Barrett at the time was kind of like a little bit better in a way that as kind of being that leader than, I mean, CJ McCollum's a leader, head of the whole players organization, awesome like that. But you need that guy that's kind of like a power forward to kind of be that guy. And I don't know. I just feel like you need more out of Zion, and maybe you need a better assistant to what he does on the court to really propel that Pelicans team into the next step.
So you know what kills it for me in the Pelicans is like you look at uh Brandon Ingram on that team, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
went from all-star to like second fiddle, and he's really anytime Zion's on the court, he's not really like relevant. It almost breaks my soul. Like I'm just looking at the
Yeah.
last game they played.
He was
They
so good
lost
with
by
the Lakers.
well, he was really good with New Orleans. Like he got an
Yeah.
all-star bid at one point.
Yep.
But
Yep.
even in this last game against the Thunder, everyone's doing their thing. CJ's got 20, Valanciunas has got 19, Herb Jones has got 11, and Brandon Ingram goes 2 for 14.
Mm.
Like you, and then he doesn't affect the box score. Like 4 rebounds, 6 assists. It's just kind of like, ho hum, I got 8 points. I'm doing this. -3 in point differential. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, you're supposed to be the star.
Yeah, he's
Zion's
literally
not
supposed
here.
to be as good as almost Anthony Edwards, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like,
And
he's been in the league longer.
he's supposed to be at least, he played the second most minutes on the team. And it's like, you can't expect him, Herb Jones, Murphy, like you can't expect those guys to put up consistent numbers,
Right.
and that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, especially when you got that going on and your big guys are just not doing it, and Zion Williamson doesn't really play as many games as he should. That all of that chemistry, I mean, it all plays a role once you get to the playoff time, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, and that's why a team like the Thunder are striving, where it's like,
Yep.
yeah, everyone knows. Uh, wow, I am blanking. Shea, but like, did anybody know J Dub was gonna hit up like that, or did they know? Chet was gonna be the man. Like
Yes.
it's just kind of like Josh Giddey puts in his stuff.
Yes, he
Lou
does.
Dort locks down whoever you put in front of him.
Yep.
Even Gordon Hayward, his old self gets a couple minutes, and you're like,
Yes, he
oh yeah,
does.
I didn't know that guy was out there. But
Absolutely. Yeah,
they all affect the box score so much.
they
Like,
do.
listen to this. So just that last game, Shea's got 10 rebounds. J Dub's got 8 rebounds. Chet's got 9 rebounds. Lou Dort's got 8 rebounds. Like,
Wow.
they're just going to town. Everybody's got a couple assists. You know, they're affecting the game, even if they're not shooting very well.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They have a really cool way that that team goes about its business. The head coach of that team, I've never seen before. He kind of gives off almost like a college coach kind of vibe, and with the style of play they play, I just haven't seen the guy before. But I love what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing now in the playoffs.
Trying to think who the coach is out there now.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say Billy Donovan because I know he was there once, but now he's in Chicago. But
Oh,
yeah,
oh, it's
it's pretty
that
cool.
Mark Denot or something like that. I
Okay.
think I can't remember how you say his name, but like,
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
he's got a weird like last name.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
I
trying to
don't know
look
where the
him up
guy came
here.
from. He just kind of showed up.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I think I've said in the past, I think the NBA has better overall coaching across the league than like the NFL does. To be honest,
Oh,
I think there are your high end coaches. There are so many of them in the NBA compared to what there is in the NFL. I think it's almost a ratio of 2 to 1. To be honest, I really could make the case that there's like 20 dynamite NBA coaches and there's only like 10 dynamite NFL coaches. That's really how I've felt for a good long while now. And seeing new up and coming youth like that, I even think I mean, this is definitely contrary to the media, I think, but I've never thought Frank Vogel is a great coach. And I mean, you and I being here in Milwaukee, I think Darvin Ham totally got screwed. And kind of like how LeBron wanted to fire Eric Spoelstra in Miami. Well, he got his wish with Darvin Ham and the Lakers. I think Darvin Ham is awesome. He's the genius to what propelled the Bucks to winning that championship. I think Darvin Ham absolutely needs to be a head coach again.
Agreed. I just did a quick like back look up here for Coach D out in OK City.
Yep.
So he was a grad student for a grad assistant for Jim Calhoun at UConn.
Sure.
And then it was funny, you said Billy Donovan. He enrolled at the University of Florida and joined Billy Donovan's staff
Okay.
under and then so once he went to OK City, he followed and became the G League OK City Blue coach for 5 years.
Okay.
And that's how he 2019, that's how he kind of got on the Thunder staff, and once Billy Donovan was kind of booted out, he took over, and that was
Gotcha.
him.
Okay. That's cool. That is a pretty cool path to the league that you get out of him for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And to me, like, in all honesty, over the last like 10 years, really, I think the three most well-run organizations have been Golden State. I'm blanking on who my Eastern. The Boston Celtics. They've just been dominant over the last decade. And then even though like they dipped, but now they've rebounded with this fountain of youth. The Oklahoma City Thunder, man, like ever since that move from Seattle to OKC, they've had very few years where they've really been irrelevant. They've really put it together year in, year out. And I think that just speaks volumes of their ownership and their mentorship of how they navigate their coaches around, like you pointed out, between the G League and now the NBA. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And speaking of the playoffs in Oklahoma City, they got the trust the process correct.
Yes, they did. They didn't just
like
tank like Philly did, and then still like you get your guys and your team is still garbage, even though they make the
Yep.
playoffs. I've never been one to be like, oh wow, the Philadelphia 76ers, and yes, they are in Hustle. I love that movie. Like it's the best. But even
I'm gonna watch this movie.
you gotta watch Hustle, man. Like all our viewers out there, comment, post, let us know what you think of Anthony Edwards and Hustle. It is awesome. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of Philadelphia 76ers stuff going on in the film. And even the only guy missing in that, or two guys, are Joel Embiid and James Harden. And when I noticed that, I was like, wow, even if they're in the film, I still think the 76ers are garbage. And yep, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and just totally flopped.
Have they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals? I thought they only made it to the semis.
You're right. No, they've only made it to the quarterfinal conference rounds. They've never made it to a conference finals. Like, man, I think Tyrese Maxey is like the beginning of like something really special, but they are still miles away from putting the pieces around him that they need to succeed. It's kind of, to me, it almost feels like a what's his name? It feels like a Trae Young situation in Atlanta. That's what I really feel like is going on between Atlanta and Philadelphia at the moment.
Hey, Atlanta just got the #1 pick, so
they did, and I think that changes things.
Yeah, I'm not sold, but
that #1 guy from France, I think he is what the Atlanta Hawks were trying to get out of what's his name? I had his name earlier. I blanked on him. He was kind of like a bigger guy, kind of like a power forward, kind of LeBron James kind of prototype, but he didn't have, obviously not the production. John Collins. I think the French guy. I think the French guy is going to turn out to be what they were hoping to get out of John Collins. I think this guy has the size, he has the shooting, and I think he's going to be that dominant, maybe 1 or 2. Whereas they were paying John Collins as if he was a 1 or 2 when John Collins was truly like a 4 or 5.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really gone too deep in my draft prospects yet, just because there wasn't too many that I was like, this draft is kind of.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I mean, good thing they do have international players, because honestly, the American side, what I saw in March Madness was weak. It is a really weak March Madness class that is coming into this year's NBA. I think honestly, the two guys that I kind of see doing something are obviously Zach Edey, and then the Connecticut guy. He's like the big center that was for Connecticut. I think he's solid as well. And then too, like going back to what you point out with the Oklahoma City Thunder, I mean, I would actually reach into the college pool for this upcoming American Olympic team. I think the Americans need size. I don't know you have multiple guys that have like serious knee injuries right now. I'm not relying on those guys going to France. I just think it's too much. And I would definitely dip into Chet Holmgren with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then I would probably grab either Zach Edey or this guy from Connecticut. Like the Americans need size. They legitimately need size. And there's no shame in dipping into the college pool for it. It's like the American hockey team, the Miracle on Ice team. Like to me, that's kind of what it feels like. And if you got to reach into the college pool to get some size, do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on how Oklahoma City is just so much better than Philly.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the other thing too that I keep thinking of the Olympics is like, all right, the best player on the OKC Thunder is going to be playing for that shirt that you're wearing right there in the Canadians and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Let's take their second best player from the Oklahoma City Thunder and make him play for the Americans. I think that makes a ton of sense.
I don't know. J-Dub might be the second best player.
Okay. Maybe. But man, like give us size. We need size. He's a good shooter. He's a good free throw shooter. And I mean, look at how the Timberwolves just went down yesterday. Boom. It's no longer Hack-a-Shaq. It's Hack-a-Rudy Gobert. That guy cannot shoot a free throw to save his life.
Oh, absolutely not. But
that's
I mean, yeah, I'm not a big Rudy fan, so I'm not going to disagree with you on that one.
I mean, yeah, it was rough watching the end of that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just you're giving me so many thoughts here. Like,
I know.
That's no debate. Basketball team, I don't know, man. Like, it's pretty stacked. So
I don't think so. I don't think it is.
Wait. Listen to this. This is just the 12 that they got.
Wait, they got 12? I thought they had only 9. Are they at 12 now?
They have a full team. It's Bam Adebayo and Joel Embiid. Then I
don't like either of those two.
I mean, Bam is okay, but that's neither here nor there. They don't
more
even
like
start a center.
Embiid from France is what this is coming down to.
When I name the rest of these, they don't even need to start a center. Devin Booker, Tyrese Halliburton.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I'll take Halliburton. I just don't believe in Booker, man. I just don't think he's a good player.
Hey, he's a microwave though. You can pull him off the bench in an Olympic team. The guy had put up 70 at some point.
So basically, still out of those 4, we have 0 that are cold-blooded assassins.
Wait, I'm gonna get to it. I'm about to get to an assassin.
Good.
The babyface assassin, Steph Curry.
Yes.
Curry has never been on an Olympic team.
Weird. That is so weird.
And then another assassin, Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday is going to do exactly what he has done for the Bucks and is doing for the Celtics now. Yes, he is a lockdown assassin. That you
remember, like when he came in after the Bucks won, then he went to the Olympics. That next game, he literally played right off the plane.
That's crazy. So, like, he was playing with jet lag, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So then you got Anthony Davis and LeBron James, obviously.
Yep, you need that.
Kawhi Leonard, who is
he's got to go. He's got to go.
If he's healthy, which it seems like
we always say, get him out of there.
But he didn't play the whole playoffs, basically.
I'm done.
So
I'm done with Kawhi. I'm done with that guy.
Wait. The next 3 are assassins.
So we have because right now we got 4. KD is 5. Yep.
Jason Tatum.
You better say Jaylen Brown because Tatum is not the best player on his own team.
Oh, even better. Anthony Edwards.
Yes. Give me some Kermit Wilts. I need that. Is Jaylen Brown on this team or is he a different nationality?
No, he's just not on the team.
He just doesn't want to play?
No, I mean, I don't know where you'd fit him. Because
Over Jason Tatum
I mean,
and
but you
Kawhi
need a
Leonard.
maybe Kawhi Leonard, but Jason
Isn't
Tatum.
isn't Jaylen Brown the highest paid basketball player in the NBA like now?
He might be. That might be true.
And he's not good enough to be one of these 12 Americans, you're saying?
To be honest,
I'm concerned, man. I do not like this team like you do. No
to
way.
be to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Jason Tatum.
No,
Not at
no,
all.
I'm not. He has shown that like when it comes to clutch time, like he's just not there, man. I think Jason Tatum is one of the greatest number 2 players in the NBA. Like
Oh, Jalen
he's
Brown?
no Tatum.
Oh, okay.
I think Tatum is a great number 2. I think he's a great side guy to go into battle with, like you see with the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, obviously Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, they're both ones in my book with how they play, but he needs something like that. Like somehow that chemistry with him and Jaylen Brown just doesn't quite work. I almost look at them like I think they're both like shooting guards and they're not true point guards. That's really what I see in them. And I like here's the weird thing too is like Jason Tatum, when he was coming up in the league after he came in from Duke, he's going up against LeBron James and those stacked Cleveland Cavaliers teams. That's going to humble you. That's going to get you better for the NBA. But then LeBron James left and went to the West. And still, Jason Tatum was running into the Milwaukee Bucks, the Philadelphia 76ers. But like, man, you got to get there. Eventually, he crossed into the finals and went up against Golden State and choked and just completely fell flat. And those moments really concern me because now I think Jason Tatum is at a point where he needs to be one of those best players in the NBA. And I mean, I'm even hearing today, I'm watching a few different sports stations, and they're like, you know what? Anthony Edwards now is ascending ahead of Jason Tatum.
Oh yeah. Jason Tatum's like I would say he's top 15 in the league. Same with
Yes.
I think he and Jalen Brown are the same player. They
Yeah.
both play that wing position. They're not big enough to be, you know, power forwards, but that's where they put Tatum.
Yeah.
Brown is at the small forward, and then they put Derek White in at shooting guard. Neither one of
Right.
them are great knockdown shooters.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, they can hit jumpers here and there, but when you said Jalen Brown was the highest paid player, I was like, oh my God, that's true. He
Yeah.
literally has the highest contract value at 286 million past. Now, let me put these names out there. Jokic, Giannis, Curry, LeBron. What?
I can yeah, I mean, I can see some of those guys. I can't see him ahead of Giannis. I can't see him ahead of Jokic. I would do it ahead of LeBron because of age purely, but
Yeah,
like he should those other two guys, I wouldn't do it. And to me, if that's the case, then really commit to Jaylen Brown and figure out a way to unload Jason Tatum. Because if that's the money that you're putting forth and that's truly what you think, then you need to put your mouth where your money is and work this team around Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown then is the obvious number one on that team if that's how they're paying him.
yeah, that was such a bad contract. Like
I agree.
they should have traded him right away, right when it was happening. The worst part about the whole deal is like he makes 40% of the cap.
Oh gosh, that's
Tatum
insane.
makes Tatum makes 23%, and Drew Holiday makes 23%, and it's like, yikes,
Yeah, I would
yikes.
definitely say Tatum plus Drew Holiday is better than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
That
me too.
is that's true. Um, but yeah, like I just feel like there are definitely some obvious concerns with this American roster, and I definitely look at health and toughness, especially against teams like Canada. Some of these Eastern European teams that they're going to go toe to toe with the Americans. Obviously, France is going to be one of the best teams out there in the field that you're going to have to compete against. And I want some of those guys that have that toughness. I want a Jaylen Brown plus a Drew Holiday. And the name to me that I think was most iconic from this U.S. World Cup that is completely missing, and I think he's a dominant player. And honestly, I can make the case that he's as good as Tyrese Halliburton, and that's Paolo Banchero. That guy has to be on the team. He really
Yeah,
does.
I thought so too, but apparently not this year.
The thing is, like, they're trying to, like, this is like Dream Team 2.0, and they're trying to put like these star-studded guys, obviously, to get the eyeballs, but I'm not sure that's going to really result in the wins. And that's where I feel like you gotta make the executive decision and say, you know what, we need the size, we need a Chet Holmgren, and we need at least one of these guys from college, whether it's the Connecticut guy or Zach Edey. I like Edey because he's got that awesome hook shot. He's great from the free throw line. I'm not sure that the Connecticut guy is that great of a free throw shooter, so I'm a little concerned about that. But man, I got to get some size, and I got to get a little more dynamics and toughness and experience out of a guy like Paolo Banchero.
Zach Edey was at the NBA draft combine, which just started,
Okay.
and he was out there shooting 3-pointers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's a part of his game that's kind of lacking, even though like he is a good free throw shooter. But like he's definitely gonna. I think you're spot on. I think he's going to be a guy that kind of develops into a Brook Lopez kind of player over time. So I think there's something cool there with the guy. I mean, yeah, you and I both want to see him on the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that'd be really special and really cool. Yeah, I just feel like there is definitely some cause of concern for health and just like toughness when that roster is going to have to go deep, and it will. I am a little concerned that they're going to fall flat against like a France or a Canada at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
We
If
will.
if they're all playing at health full health level, there's no way you can stop Kawhi, LeBron, Durant, Curry, Joel Embiid. Like, and I mean, most of those guys are out the playoffs, so they have
Yeah,
plenty of time to get healthy.
but a knee injury isn't going to get healthy in like a month or two. Um, it's going to take time, and that's where I'm concerned. Like, to me, I think Kawhi at this point is just an absolute wash, and Joel Embiid, he's been hobbling too. I got a little more faith in Joel for being out there, but yeah, I'm kind of concerned about that. So if Paulo Banchero can't play for the Americans, would he be able to play for like the Mexican team if that's a thing? Or what nationality would Paulo fall under if he wouldn't be playing for the Americans?
That's a good question. Let's see.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's anything else. If I could be
Wow.
wrong though.
Yeah. Because I think it's a real shame to not see a guy like Paulo Banchero like in this Olympics, considering like he was the heart and soul of the Americans. Him and Anthony Edwards, my guy Kermit Wiltz, like those guys were the heart and blood and soul of that American team. And I think Jalen, like obviously Jalen Brunson's a little banged up, and he's really in a war with the Pacers and the remainder of this NBA playoffs. But he'd be a really great piece for this U.S. Olympic team as well.
Yeah, it only shows him as American, so
But
I don't.
bummer.
And he was,
Yeah, it's all notoriety going on with this American team instead of putting the truly the best possible roster you can put out there. And does it max out at 12?
yeah, I think so.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it maxes out at 12. It is what it is. But if I mean, we'll see what happens, how spicy this gets for the Olympics. But as it stands now, I mean, I'd have to take a serious look at these international teams, and I might lay some shekels internationally against the Americans if that's the case.
Oh boy.
Oh boy,
Uh,
that's debate.
oh, I can tell. I don't know if I'll debate that one. I mean, I'm
We'll see.
definitely. I don't really think there's too many teams that can run with that USA squad.
Well, and what is it? Serbia has both Doncic and Jokic, right?
No, Doncic is.
Slovenian.
Oh my God, why am I blanking?
So is
He
Doncic is Slovenian? Is
yeah.
Jokic Lithuanian or something?
Let's check.
He's probably a different Baltic nation then.
Yeah, I thought he's Serbian. Serbian.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Interesting.
The Serbian team is kind of solid,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. But that's my international hat that I have to put on. Uh,
Nice.
right now, I'm full American mode, except
Really?
with my shirt,
Yeah,
because
if I had to just go like no knowledge, no nothing right now, straight off of last year's results into this Olympics, I would go with the shirt you're wearing, and I would pick the Canadians.
you remember I was telling you about the Canadians last year, and you're like, they have all of those players. I'm like, yes, they
Yeah,
do.
like you basically like exploded my mind with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander being Canadian. That's the icing on the cake right there,
And
man. That's
remember,
the scary thing.
Jamal Murray didn't even play last year.
Wait, Jamal Murray's Canadian?
Yep.
Oh no. Oh man, I was thinking he would have been like a Middle Eastern nation or something like that. Wow,
No,
I did not know he's Canadian.
let's see.
Oh man, that's even worse.
I'm gonna see if they have their basketball roster. See if they have their roster like set already,
Yeah,
like the USA does.
right.
Sporting news. Oh, it's
Obviously, they got
Rockland.
Desmond Bain.
Huh?
Obviously, they have what Desmond Bain as
Uh,
well.
I don't. I don't think Desmond Bain's Canadian.
Or
I think that
I mixed up his name. The guy who used to be a Grizzly and is now a Rocket.
hmm, Grizzly and now a Rock. Oh, Dylan Brooks. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but they have like R.J. Barrett, Dylan
Oh,
Brooks.
RJ is Canadian. Oh gosh.
Yes. Shea's out there.
Yep.
Jamal Murray's gonna be out there.
What do they got for
Um,
size?
Kelly Oubre, Lou Dort,
Okay.
Dwight Powell,
Okay.
Brandon Clark. Oh, I mean, they might add Andrew Wiggins, Shaden Sharp. I didn't know Shaden Sharp was Canada. Oh, this is gonna bug you. This is gonna bug you.
Uh-oh.
Zach Edey's Canadian.
Oh, oh, that that was like the sword going right into the stomach and just like
Oh,
turning it.
yep.
That's okay. Like I said, now the Americans, I'm telling you, if you want to make the counterpunch and the counterplay, you have to take Chet Holmgren and take someone else out at this point. That has to happen. Like, wow, that's scary, man. I was just hoping there wasn't like some Victor Wembanyama just sticking out there for Team Canada, and now there is.
Yep, there is.
Yeah, yeah, I would bet Canada straight up right now and get really good odds.
Trying to see if there's anyone else that like I can't. Oh
Man, these
man,
guys popping out of the woodwork.
Andrew Nebhard and Benedict Mathurin both play for Indiana, and they're both Canadian.
Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, Canada's got some really good players.
Oh, Trey Lyles, Chris Boucher. Yeah, they've got some solid bigs out there
Yep.
that can do some stuff. But yeah, Zach Edey and
That
that
hurts.
that could be the man right there to
Yeah,
take over.
I think if you're the Americans, you're like, all right, we need one of these like stupid, insane 7-footers. And I know Anthony Davis is out there, but again, he's another guy that like he can get tweaked and he's out essentially. Like between him, Kawhi, Embiid, like we need another like X factor size wise who I can just really count on health wise. And to me, yeah, I know he was banged up, but like ever since he's come back and he's taken some hard falls and he's bounced back from them. I think Chet Holmgren is totally that guy, and I would just not want to go into battle without Chet Holmgren. I'm sorry.
I think what the U.S. is thinking is more of um, like we can outscore everyone, and
You
that,
hope.
that's that's a hope. But I would put those guards and forwards up against just about anybody. I don't think R.J. Barrett, Lou Dort, and Dylan Brooks can hold LeBron KD, Steph Curry. Like that's almost impossible.
These games, are they a best of one or are they a best of 2 out of 3 once they start going into the bracket?
The brackets are usually those like round robins where you play everybody and whoever's got the
Right,
best.
right,
So, and I don't think Canada and the US will be in the same bracket right away, but I
right.
could be wrong.
But once they get to the knockout rounds, like we see in FIFA,
It's on. Yeah.
it's just best of one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, I'll take Canada then at that point because if it's a best of one, anything can happen. Then it's March Madness, and you get some really crazy stuff that can happen in a game. And I think whereas like the Americans are obviously taking the names, the Canadians are like, all right, we kind of got second scraps in a way. We can just take our time and just really formulate what we think is truly the best formulation to make the best possible team. And that is where I think the Canadians definitely have an advantage.
Yeah. I mean that could be true.
As long as you have
Definitely.
Zach Edey, you have to have that stupid tall guy.
That's what it is. Have the
Exactly.
stupid tall guy. Um,
Exactly.
I know I'm about to switch. I'm about to switch a little bit on you here,
Yeah, let's
just
do
to
it.
confuse you a bit. Uh,
I'm
so
ready.
tomorrow marks the official start of Caitlin Clark.
Yes, and I've been kind of keeping tabs on it because during these NBA playoff games, the sidelines, those LED screens on the side, they've been previewing the WNBA games, and there's 2 of them tomorrow. We get Caitlin Clark against the Connecticut Sun, and then we get the Phoenix Mercury against the Vegas Aces.
Oh,
And I've been keeping
there's four
tabs on
games
those.
total.
Oh, there's 4 games. What are the
4 games
other?
total.
What are the other 2 games?
New York Liberty are playing the Washington Mystics, I want to say.
Okay. I like that New York Liberty team, man. I mean, you got Sabrina
Oh,
Ionescu and what's her name from Connecticut?
yeah. Oh my gosh. What? Brianna Stewart.
Brianna Stewart. Exactly. So I like New York.
So man, that team, they got Sabali, Courtney Vandersloot, who's like
Oh,
one of the best
yes.
point guards ever. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
she's getting up there in age. I think she's like mid 30s,
Okay.
but yeah, they got a squad over there.
Yeah, they do.
Let's see.
And then what's the 4th game?
Fourth game is Minnesota and Seattle. Not very excited about that
Yeah,
one.
I don't really know too much about either of those teams.
Um, Minnesota's kind of been, hit or miss in the last handful of years just
Yeah.
because, Maya Moore left and they've been just kind of just moseying around a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, trying to think who's
If
on
if
their
I had to if
team.
I had to make a fun little parlay from 3 of those 4 games, I would really like Connecticut, Vegas, and the Liberty. I would actually like all 3 of those teams to win.
You would put Connecticut over Indiana?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
That was Connecticut was the second best team in the entire league last season, right?
oh, let's check because I don't remember the standings from last year.
Yeah, I forgot who the Aces beat in the finals, but I know Connecticut was one of those last few teams remaining, and
Trying
they
to
might
get
have been the
that.
best team in the East. If it's a East versus West thing like it is in the NBA.
WNBA is not East
Okay.
West. But they were the third best team. It was the Liberty and Aces last year.
Ah, gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were, to be honest, every team under 4 was under 500. So it was Dallas, Connecticut, New York, and Las Vegas all had positive differentials
sure.
and win percentages.
Yeah, and Dallas is a really good team. I definitely have seen them, and plus even that preseason game where they squared off against Caitlin Clark. I forgot her name. Chigeze Oku. Oh man, she's got a tough last name to pronounce. But she made a really awesome last second shot to win against Indiana in the preseason.
For Connecticut?
Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. I was like,
Yeah,
wait, what?
yeah. Dallas played against Indiana. I want to say about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the game winner. The game
Yep.
winner, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
So I like Dallas out west too.
Dallas has got a solid squad. There are
Yeah, they
some
do.
teams. They got Arike Gumbawale. She's the one
There we
that
go.
hit
There we
the
go.
shot.
Nice.
Um, and then, I mean, we're all gentlemen here, but Seitu Sabali she is an up and coming like go-to player.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I think there's some really cool things developing out there in Dallas. Obviously, me being a Raider, I mean, I'm obviously following the Las Vegas teams, and I love what the Aces did in the draft and how that team's built. And Becky Hammond is a phenomenal head coach. So I like the Aces doing stuff out there.
Yeah, that
But
team's not
it'll
fair.
be fun.
That team's not fair.
I know.
Uh,
Yeah, it's an all star team. It's pretty ridiculous.
Getting Daisha Fair with Chelsea
Yeah.
Gray,
Yep.
Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, like you just start naming people and you're like, "Well, I don't know what we can do about any of those."
Yeah, and then drafting a phenomenal center who had a really bad injury, and then drafting another 6'6" center behind her, and hey, lay the cards on the table. Best woman wins. I love it.
Basically. And I think she's on injured reserve if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
Yeah, so you put her on the IR spot, and then the 6'6" center they drafted from Kansas. She'll get more opportunities to practice, play, whatever that happens. I do think, though, it will take a little step back, but not much. But you do lose Candace Parker. That does play a part.
Yeah, and I mean she wasn't really like big on stats last year, but
Yeah,
like
she was hurt.
you you're still losing that veteran off the bench.
Yeah, and when she's on the court, like no matter what, I've always felt Candace Parker is just phenomenal.
Dude, when she retired and they showed some of her stats, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I knew Candace Parker was, Hall of Famer, but like
yeah.
stuff where you're just going, she was rookie of the year and MVP at the same time.
My gosh, that's crazy. Like that is really crazy stuff. I mean, I was hoping in the NFL. I thought we were almost going to get that out of CJ Stroud, but he went down at the last possible moment for that. But man, that's crazy with Candace. And for me, like I feel like since I've kind of followed the WNBA, I think for me the best player that I look at is Diana Taurasi, and then after that for me is Candace Parker.
Nice. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, those are two big names that like if you're making the storybook of the WNBA, those ladies are like right at the top.
Yeah, I actually had a guy, one of my guys I work with at work. He was actually at basketball camps way back in the day, and he was actually at the same camps hooping alongside Candace Parker.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Should probably put the business on them, but no.
Probably, man. Hey, that's no
Uh,
debate.
so there's like a couple teams that I'm wondering how they're gonna fare out. Like Seattle with Skylar Diggins Smith and Jewel Lloyd.
Sure.
Um, Diggins Smith was like when she came out of Notre Dame, was that probably like 10 years ago? Like I thought she was gonna be the next uh Sue Bird.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, she's kind of hit like her, you know,
Plateau.
yeah. But they got NECA Agumake over there too, so
Yeah.
they're a pretty solid squad.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. This Indiana team could be if Caitlin Clark's even like half as good as they think she can be. And after being in Celeste Taylor too, like you mix in Katie Lou Samuelson and like players like that'll make them better. Aaliyah Boston from last year,
Yeah.
like that could be a really really good team.
I like that, but I got to see the size. Like that's I'm not concerned about the forwards or the guards. I got to
Yeah,
see that inside presence. I got to see the centers. I got to see the truly the power forwards. That's what I really got to see. If I can see that size presence, then whether it's Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, who else is out there, I'm content with. but they got to show the size. I mean, even a team that we haven't mentioned that I like, who I noticed drafted well, and they do have this on their roster. I think the Chicago Sky are moving in the right direction as well. I love the woman they drafted from South Carolina and the presence they have there. I love what they got going.
Yeah, you're talking Camelia Cardosa.
Yes, Camila Cardosa is awesome. I think she should have
6
been the
foot,
number 2 pick.
dude, right? 6'7", just monster. You know, like
Yeah.
there's no other way to put it. Is just how is that? How did she not go higher? But yeah, I've been watching Angel Reese a lot. She's kind of a dog. Like she's still not able to shoot very well, but
Wait, is
she's
Angel
she's
Reese
a
in
dog.
Chicago as well?
She is, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Because they
And
got
like you pointed out, like point her on almost like a guard, a pseudo guard position instead of that
Mhm.
inside dominant presence could actually work out well for her.
It's so weird. On offense, she's a big. On defense, she's a guard. And
Yep.
it's the way I watched her like play, but she was all over people on defense. I'm like, yeah, use up your fouls. Like, go ahead.
Absolutely. No, that's great. That's great to see that progression from her. And I mean, it's to me like with the style of play, she doesn't have the size, but she does kind of have that nimbleness and style that like a Candace Parker has. I think she can have that, and if she's bringing that intensity on defense, that's no debate.
Yeah. There's not very many players on Chicago that I'm kind of like, oh, this person's really like bouncing off the charts. So like
Yeah,
there's gonna be obvious playing time for.
yeah,
Last year they only had 3 players that were in double digits. So
yeah.
there's gonna be some playing time. That's why they got
Exactly.
2 of the top picks in the
Yeah.
first round, you know?
Yeah, I think they got spent after the championship season because Candace Parker went to Vegas, and then I
Yep.
thought their number 2 player also retired, something like that.
I
But I know,
can't even think that far.
yeah, but I know they lost like a ton of firepower right after they won the championship. So it's good to see that rebound is coming back in the youth.
Um, oh, so I was looking at Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Aaliyah Boston is their biggest player. She's
Uh,
6'5".
Oh, she is 6'5" though. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, she kind of looks a little smaller on TV, but if she's 6'5", that's legit.
She's 6'5", 220 is what they got her listed on their website.
Nice. No, that's awesome. That's what they need. They need players like that, but they need more than Aaliyah Boston, I think.
Yeah, they've only got one center listed on their team too.
Mm.
So that's a little weird.
Yeah, I think, and yeah, obviously people love positionless basketball, but man, if I got 12 spots on a roster, give me at least 3 centers. Like
Yeah,
I'll go to battle with them. I mean,
agreed.
I love what the Milwaukee Bucks have done where they put Brooke Lopez and Giannis and even sometimes Bobby Portis and throw all 3 of them at you. And good luck with that. Like, I think it's tough to compete against size. And today's basketball, we're seeing whether it is women's, men's, or the college game. Like, look at the French players. It's size. Right now, size is coming back. And the big fundamental of like the Tim Duncan days, they're back.
Right. So this is kind of fun. Um, the Indiana game will be on Disney Plus and ESPN Plus.
Is it going to be on ESPN? Like,
ESPN 2.
oh, the Deuce.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Which is
Nice.
kind of cool because a lot of those games don't even get like TV time and uh they go for like ESPN 3 or
Yeah. The
things like
Ocho.
that. Yeah. Now here's a wild thing. So I'm looking at the tickets as it shows as low as on ESPN.
Yeah.
So the New York game is $22. The Vegas game is $14. Seattle is $24. The Indiana at Connecticut as low as $74. Her tickets are
$74.
yes. are nearly 4 times as much as every other ticket.
Man, okay, I would have expected that Connecticut game actually to be even more, to be honest. But man, I'm a little bummed out about those other games. I would expect that, like, to me, yeah, the Connecticut game is awesome with Caitlin Clark. But are you kidding? Like, you don't go out west if you're in Vegas to see that amazing Vegas team plus Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi in Phoenix. Like, that's a squad they got out there in Phoenix as well.
Oh man, that team is really good. Is
Yep.
this the last year of Taurasi?
I think you're right. Isn't she also doing something? She also covers games alongside Sue Bird, right?
Yeah, they were doing that for the
Kind of like the
NBA.
Manning cast. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I would think it is. I mean, she's been playing what 24. I swear I remember her at Connecticut in like the 2000s, if I'm right.
Yeah, she's 41 years old.
That's awesome. That
Yep.
that speaks volumes of how you are as a professional athlete when you are playing for that amount of age. I mean, like if I'm going like across the sports and the leagues of who I think are the greatest of my lifetime, and yes, obviously with basketball, I think Jordan is the greatest, but I barely saw any of Jordan, to be honest. I saw him crush the hearts of Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing, but I didn't see the real cool like golden days of Michael Jordan when he was in his heydays. But when I look at guys who have been out there with just age and just being out there forever in the NBA, I have to go with LeBron James. His longevity is awesome. I remember seeing him like when I was in high school. That's how like awesome it was seeing him back in the day. And then obviously in the women's NBA game, I have to go Diana Taurasi. Sue Bird is up there too. She's got that longevity. And baseball, man, I can't really think of any baseball player that I know of offhand who's just been there forever. But then for me, the master of longevity is actually in the NHL. And I know right now he's playing over, like he's done playing in the NHL, but he's actually playing professionally back overseas in Kazakhstan. And the best athlete for all of longevity in any sport for me is Yame Yager.
Yager. Yes.
Yes. I think that guy was playing professionally when I was in like elementary school.
Dude, he's on my NHL 95 game for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So he's number one. He is
Yeah.
by far number one. I think his age is 51.
I gotta
Yeah, we got to look him up, man, because I know like he was actually back in the States. They retired his like jersey or number with at a Pens game, and man, Yame Yager is like just awesome. Like he played forever. He was always making a ton of stats, always a lot of goals, assists, and just tough as nails, man.
So he is the owner of the team that he plays on.
That's awesome.
He
That
is
is really awesome.
52 years old.
Man, that is insane.
And he started in 1990 at 18. He has the second most points in NHL history, obviously behind Wayne Gretzky.
Yep, that's why I remember the guy playing back when I was in elementary school and thinking he was awesome back then and that he was going to probably play forever. And yeah, sure enough, he is playing forever.
He was almost playing before we were alive.
Oh gosh, that's wild. That's really wild. That's no debate right there.
Yeah. So I'm just reading some of the nonsense about this guy. He is the oldest player to ever play in the NHL at 45. He is also the oldest player to record a hat trick.
That's cool. That's cool. Hey, I got to give a shout out to Ramblin' Bob and what he's thinking here. I think right now for me, my most awesome highlight reel in sports. Now that we're going all crazy sports right here, even though it wasn't successful, it really didn't mean much. Now, I got to go back to the NBA All Star game that had Vince Carter, and during the game, he slammed down a dunk that got rejected that hit the rim and bounced back to the paint on the other side of the court. That's my favorite moment in sports.
Oh man.
Vince
I'm gonna have to
Carter
break
game.
I might have to break this down in sports,
Ooh, interesting.
because the greatest highlight to me, and it's so weird because you said Vince Carter,
Yeah.
but when he dunked over that guy in the Olympics, the 7-footer, that
Oh,
where it made every person on the sideline stand up and just go, "What do we do about this?" Like,
yes.
and all
Yes.
the international players were just like, "They make them like that in the U.S.? Like, what?"
Yep. Yep. Man, that's crazy. I also liked I was watching they had the 30 for 30 on Mother's Day, I want to say on ESPN. They had the highlight of and I remember I was on vacation in the Wisconsin Dells with my parents, and we were just flicking through the channels trying to find something. There was nothing. And then we flicked to the channel that had the Pacers against the Knicks, and I saw Reggie Miller's 8 points in 6 seconds. I saw
Yep,
that, and it to me it is easily one of my favorite NBA moments ever. And I've loved Reggie Miller ever since I saw that play.
yep. The
Yep,
choke, the
yep.
choke.
Oh yeah,
Oh
and
my God.
his rivalry with Spike Lee, and Spike Lee's fun and awesome too. And no, it's a lot of fun, and that's one of my favorite moments ever in sports is seeing Reggie Miller pull off that comeback with the Pacers. And I remember seeing the Knicks thinking that they were dead, and I'm just rolling through the time and the mathematics behind it. Even back when I'm like, mathematically, this game is definitely not over. Like kind of like future resembled that like New England Patriots Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl in a way where I looked at that game too and I'm like, mathematically, this game is definitely not over. And Reggie Miller pulled off that comeback, and man, it was awesome.
Man, that reminds me of the T-Mac in, like, what was it, 12 seconds?
Yes. Yep.
Or no, it was 13 points in 30 seconds. Like,
Oh.
that dude, that was against San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't like
Okay.
a crazy,
Yeah.
big game or anything, but
Yeah.
yeah, he was just knocking down shots, and you're like, oh, okay. But so if I move into football now, there's two highlights. Obviously, being a Packer fan,
Okay.
the NFC Championship game, the Randall Cobb over the Bears, when
Okay.
like everybody was basically hurt, and you're just like,
Sure.
he's not even supposed to be in the game, and he scores
Right.
a touchdown.
Yeah, it
And
was still
then
young coming out of Kentucky.
the my favorite call is, he did what? Do you know what that is?
No.
The Antonio Freeman rolling around on the
Oh
ground,
yes,
middle
on
part
the
of
Minnesota
the.
Vikings Monday Night
Yep,
Football.
yep.
Al Michaels making the call on that one. Yes.
Like, there was no way he caught that ball. Like, you're just sitting there going, uh, what? Why is he rolling? Is he? And then he started walking to the end zone, and then someone starts chasing him. Then he runs a little bit, and you're like,
He got it.
uh, there's a replay, right? Like, what?
I, yeah, I remember seeing that one live too, and I thought, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he caught it. Like, I know no one thinks he caught it, but like the camera angle was so weird and jumbled. It was like Blair Witch Project stuff going on. And to me, I was thinking, yeah, I think there's a real likelihood that he caught this. And like Brett Favre makes the craziest throws imaginable. That I thought that was definitely possible that that could have occurred with that. And then I think the one other one I got in baseball is this would have been Mother's Day back in the 2000s, was Bill Hall with the pink bat, and he won the game on a walk-off home run with that pink bat on Mother's
Yeah.
Day. And I heard, even though our Brewers just lost against the Cardinals on Mother's Day, the Brewers have the best Mother's Day record since they've introduced pink bats from that point on to now.
Wow.
Yeah, so Mother's Day is really special with the Milwaukee Brewers, so it's pretty cool.
Okay, I got one more. I'll
Okay.
throw one more in. Uh, let's see. This one's just to poke at you a little bit, but it is in my brain.
Yeah.
Uh, 2003, Brett Favre Monday Night Football against the Raiders.
The,
That
the the thing is, like, I wasn't a Raider fan then, But it was creeping into my mind that I was like, man, you know what? Like, I like this team. And I was kind of bummed out that like Brett Favre like really went off against the Raiders. Um,
It
but
was the
it
day.
was a special moment, man. It was super special.
It was the day after his dad passed away,
Yeah.
and they asked him if he wasn't going to play, and he's like, "No, my dad would want me to go play."
Yep.
And then I mean, he was launching balls everywhere, and
Yeah.
like 9 out of 10 of them, you're just like, "Okay, that's getting intercepted. Okay, that didn't get intercepted." And like, I want to say they
Yeah.
were up. I'm going to try to find the score. It was 41-7. Um, they were up 31 at halftime, and they kind of like pulled the dogs off a little bit because it was like,
Yeah.
okay, this game is nuts. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Kind of bring
399.
Yeah. Bring that back to modern day life. Actually, I had a friend, a good friend of mine, that I was really close to at work, and he passed away last year from leukemia. But he was a guy that he really disliked Aaron Rodgers, and he disliked that real coalition of like Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, those guys that went to the Jets, and he really disliked that. But he was always talking up that like, man, you know, this kid like Jordan Love, like there's something special about him. And I always thought about it. And he was literally the guy that got me on the hype train that like Jordan Love might be something. He might be special. And unfortunately, when he passed away, the next game was the Packers against the Chiefs game. And Green Bay won that game. And that was really special.
That's true. So
Yeah.
looking at the stats on this Raiders game, I'm a little
Yeah.
mad at the Raiders. You guys had Jerry Rice and Tim Brown, and there
Yeah.
was no quarterbacks.
What? Rich Gannon wasn't playing?
It's Rick Meyer, T. Martin, and Rob Johnson.
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't know who. I don't even know who those guys are.
I know Rick Meyer. That's it.
Dang, because
Big
I
40.
know, like back when the Raiders went to that Super Bowl against Gruden and the Buccaneers, Jerry Rice was on that Raiders team, and Jerry Rice also qualified for the Pro Bowl.
Nice.
Yeah, as a
Um,
Raider.
so they combined for 194 yards, the three quarterbacks. Jerry Rice had 159.
Oh gosh, man, that tells you how great Jerry Rice is. And even another former great receiver who was a Raider and went to another team and had great success, Randy Moss. I didn't think he was that bad as a Raider. I know people want to dog him for going to the Raiders, but I still thought like, okay, there's something there. We didn't give him much quarterback support, but obviously when he matched up with Tom Brady and the Patriots, it was special.
Totally.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of the stuff I got when looking at another team. And Wilt's a little bit before my lifetime, but I've always said I've always enjoyed playing NBA Street Volume 2 with Wilt Chamberlain. He is always my go-to on that game. He is my big. He's my guy that I can count on. And Wilt Chamberlain is always on my NBA Street Volume 2 roster. That's no debate.
That's solid. That's solid.
Yep. Yep.
But I mean, if we're gonna go with what they were thinking, they were probably like, this guy's gonna score 1,000,000 points today.
Yeah. And he did without a 3-point arc.
Yep.
So it's pretty wild to pull that off.
Yeah, I think he hit like 20 some free throws at the same time.
Ah, that'll do it. So when you have 1/5 of those 100 coming from the charity stripe when the clock is stopped, that does it.
Yeah, that's no debate.
That's no debate right there. Yeah, I remember too back in those early 2000s. Actually, it was right around when Diana Taurasi got drafted. I got I think I bought that ESPN article that had her and was his name Okafor? I forgot
Yep.
his name. Yeah,
Amelia Okafor.
Emilio Okafor for Connecticut. That they were thinking the next person who would have a legitimate shot at 100, they were actually picking Ray Allen.
Huh. So I just actually looked up the 100-point game. They only won by 22. I know I said only 22, but
You needed a guy to score 100.
the other team had 3 guys that scored 30.
That's scary. That's pretty good. I mean, that'll do it right there.
Yeah, and on his team, 4 other people were in double figures. So it wasn't like he was just completely greedy. Yeah, he put up 63 shots, but other guys, there was 11, 16, 17, and 17.
Right. Yeah, I think that's legitimate right there. And I mean, I was looking at the box score from the other night, watching the Pacers. I want to say against the Knicks, and man, Indiana had like 3 guys who were hanging like 30 on the Knicks. And I know Jalen Brunson and the squad, like, they were spent, but at the same time, like, Indiana had some guys just go off. So to me, if I were really checking out that game tomorrow between the Knicks and the Pacers, I wouldn't just want to lay like the farm with Indiana. I think New York can rebound, and playing at home in Gotham, I think this could actually work out really well for the Knicks.
Nice. Before we wrap up, because we've been
Yeah.
going long, my voice
Yeah,
has
we have.
actually been staying in.
Yeah.
I just put another cough drop in my mouth.
Dude,
I
man,
will
you're a
answer this.
trooper.
I will answer this $1 million question.
Okay.
It would be Muhammad Ali, no doubt about it. I know Tyson has power and speed and all that stuff,
Yeah,
but
he's a inch guy though.
he's smaller. He doesn't have as much reach. And Ali banged with Foreman, in the Rumble in the Jungle, and rope-a-doped him until he got tired, and then he put him to sleep.
Yep. Yeah, like seeing some of the tape on Muhammad Ali is pretty awesome, and still to this day on my closet door, I have the iconic Muhammad Ali after he knocks him. I think he knocks out Frazier, and he's just standing over him with the mouth guard kind of hanging out like Steph Curry. Like that is one of the coolest moments in sports, I think, is that iconic photo.
That's the down goes Frazier, right?
Yes, that is the down goes Frazier. Like, to me, I think that is honestly, when I think of anything in black and white, that is one of the 2 things that I think of in sports. And the other is the 3 Americans that were on the podium, or actually, I think it's only 2 Americans that were on the podium for track and field in Berlin for Hitler's Olympics. Yep, exactly. Yep.
I know what you're saying.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. That is, to me, that is the number 1 iconic sports moment in all of sports. Is that?
Okay, I can dig that.
Yeah, because that goes into like life in like the coolest way of like sticking it to the man. Like, that's awesome. It's American. Like, to me, that's the best moment in all of sports.
Totally.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep. Absolutely. So, hey, like, you're a trooper. You're fighting through this episode. I know we didn't cover our NFL stuff, but hey, let's give it another week. Let's give your boy DJ TRIGGS some time to heal up so we can attack the NFL just as hard as we attacked basketball tonight. And I think we got a good show, and I think we'll wrap it up here and come back strong next week, TRIGGS.
I'm down with that because now
All right, man.
I've had to hit the cough button a bunch of times today.
Nice.
Here, I'll give you one good cough.
Wow. That's the only one I've heard this entire show. And yeah, for Steve Metrics and your boy over there, DJ TRIGGS, trooping it through, man. Together, we are No Debate Sports, and that's No Debate.